So hello everyone, this is the video to demonstrate how to create functions and use functions, right, in MATLAB. But I want to start with something you know before we move to something you don't know, right? So this is how to create a function in Python. So maybe we want to create a function that adds four numbers at a go, right? Without us writing a plus b plus c plus d every time. So with the function name is add, right? You start with the def keyword, you go to add, then these A, B, C, D are called parameters, right? That means when you are calling the functions, you pass values in this place where there's maybe A is 5, B is this, C is that, D is this, right? Those things you pass are called arguments. So for example, over here, right? Good. So when I was calling the sum function over here, so let me just go down a little bit. Good. So this sum function, now these A, B, C, D you are seeing here are called argument because I'm calling the function and passing in the values in A, B, C, D, E. And A, B, C, D, E, F are all were from the user's input, right? Okay. So now this function over here is only accessible inside this file. So MATLAB has a different structure. Instead of writing your functions in the file, which is what other programming languages do, it makes you create a MATLAB file that is called a function. So the same way, there's a keyword for function in Python, which is def. We'll just look at the MATLAB version, right? This is the function name. It takes parameters. And then now, when we finish adding the numbers, we want to bring that answer out. That means if somebody said k is equal to add, then you pass in the numbers, k should have something that's holding like the answer, the actual answer. So they use the keyword return. So when you say return everything, this guy will come outside of the function to be used outside of this function, right? And that is literally it, right? So wait, so this is the actual program you're running, right? This program takes input from the user. So it takes four numbers separated by a comma, okay? And then because we know that Python default takes every input as a string, okay? We sort of, whatever it is, right? So I can take the string and split the string by a comma. So that means I can separate everything the person user entered and print. So you see what is happening in the background. Then when we have all the numbers, this is an array of characters or strings, right? Because I've splitted the input into um array, right, by a comma. And then I convert each string to an integer. So that I will have the four numbers as integers. Then I will store those things into A, B, C, D. Okay. Then now that we have numbers, we could just say the sum of those numbers is then you pass in the numbers to an add function and it calculates that for us. Okay. So let me just sort of run it and then let's see it in action. Okay. So run. Okay. So it's asking me to enter the four numbers. So let me say 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, right? So this is a string. So when I hit enter, let's look at what they print. So I said you entered 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I said I extracted this array of characters. That's the splitting, right? 1 as a string, 2 as a string, 3 as a string, and 4 as a string. This is my information about what the input function in Python does. It takes a string. So when I exported it, it's still a string. Then we convert each string here to a number. That is when we can now say the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4 is 10. Are you all fine with that? Okay. So now let's look at the MATLAB version of this same thing we've done. Okay. So in MATLAB, I'm going to use this as my running file, right? Okay. So this is where I'll be running my actual code from, right? So let me say user underscore input will be equal to, now I call my input. Okay. Then I say I want enter Um, enter numbers, right? So enter numbers. Okay. Okay. Enter numbers. And then we're gonna end it. Okay. So now that I've asked the person to enter the numbers, right? So this is the prompt. Now in MATLAB, by default, it takes integers. So I can pass an integer array or just a single integer, right? That's what MATLAB takes. So I don't need to convert anything to any numbers because it takes the numbers by default, right? So maybe I just want to tell just display what the person enters. So display this because it's an array, right? So user. So I'm displaying what the user entered, right? But I want to make it nice. So let me use fprintf to print some string. So fprintf. So just say you entered these numbers. Okay. Then okay. Then I display a number, right? Then now what we just did was we were adding the numbers, right? So we are going to create a function to do that, but let's write the fprintf thing. So fprintf fprintf. So I'll just say sorry about that. Okay, so the sum of your input is now I put a placeholder, right? So percentage, I can make it float, so to two decimal places, just in case. Okay. I have to pass something, right? I'm going to do this and now just write the function name. So add. And then sorry, yeah. So add the person user. Okay, looks like add is a function already in MATLAB. So it's already giving me suggestion. Okay. So let's make it something that's not known. So let's say my underscore. Okay. So an assistant, we took the user's input as an array. We'll take it as an array, print it to them. Anyway, there's no placeholder for arrays. So that's what I'm doing fprintf with no new line character. That means it will be on the same line. Let me give a space. And then I'll use the display to display the array. So it will appear like they're on one line. The display automatically adds a new line, right? I guess to the sum of your input is that. Then I can put a new line character over here, right? So /n. Okay. And then I call my function and pass in the argument, which is what the user entered, the array. But this function does not exist right now, right? So I have to create it. So the way to create it, I can use this method, which is the function file, which is the default way of doing things, right? So I drop down this new, yeah, and then choose function. Okay. So now here in Python, the keyword, the same thing, you are just transferring knowledge, right? So you have a keyword, here is function instead of def. Then the function name is, we call it what? My underscore add. So let me just type it. My underscore add. Okay. Okay. Then we just say it takes numbers. So we don't want to put A, B, C. Command lab allows us to work with arrays, right? Uh-huh. What we're just going to do is, in our case, right? We want to return the sum of this thing. So there's an inbuilt function that's called sum. So I'll just do sum. I want to sum numbers, right? So numbers. Then I'm going to store. So now you see, just like Python, we're doing return, right? But in MATLAB, we don't have the keyword return. So the only way to return something is by actually putting the variable that will be returned here. So here I was just saying answer. So let me say we want to do return sum of this, but it's not there. So whatever we rather do is that we just say answer equal to this. This thing here is actually like the keyword return. So just instead of actually saying return sum of this, we create a variable that will be returned. And then we assign whatever we want to return out of the function to that variable. And that is how functions work. So you see here, I use numbers, right? So the sound would be like, oh, what if I use numbers in my actual code? So fine. So wait, let me first save the file. So let me just do Control S and then save. Okay. So now let me go back to the this file. So here, instead of using user input, right? Let me just do this. I did numbers. Anyway, MATLAB allows me to change your variables at once. So let's say I did numbers, right? This numbers here is not known to my function. My function doesn't know this. This is a variable I'm actually using in my actual program, right? Like the ABCD in the Python one. So this numbers is actually an array of numbers. I display it. Immediately, this numbers is being passed into the name of it's being passed into the function being called. This thing is not called parameter, it's called argument. So this numbers actually is from the user, not the one in the function. So let me run this. I think it didn't run. Okay. Oh yeah. Let me say trial. Yeah. What errors do they have? Oh, input, not impaired. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, issue solved. Anyway, so the good programmer reads error incorrect, right? So let me add my three things. So CLC, CLER, and then close off. Okay, so let me run it again. So I pass an array. So I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is my input that I'm passing, right? Okay. So then I hit enter. Then it tells me you entered these numbers. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what the fprintf did, and this is what the display did, right? And then this tells me that the sum of your input is 10, just like what Python gave us. So in the same way. So this is how to create a function in MATLAB. You see that this one I'm running this is the file I'm running, right? But I've created a function for animals saved in the same folder here. If I scroll, let me shift this place for you to see something. Okay. So when I come here, add. So you see, where is the my okay, it's actually called my add. So this is the my add. It's like a MATLAB file, right? It's saved in the same place I have trial, like trial, right? So because these two files are in the same folder that I'm currently running the files in, then when I call my add file and I pass in the argument, it's able to compute it inside the my add file. And then because I have a return variable, right, it will bring something that I can print. And that is it. That is it. So anyways, you could use this thing to type something like a documentary for help, right? So let me just say, my underscore add add numbers and returns sum. Okay. So because what I've just typed right now, if I okay. Okay. So now I can do this. Then okay. So if I do in my command window, right? If I do help and I pass in my underscore add and I hit enter, that documentary comes, right? So what I type as a comment here comes here. So my add adds numbers and returns sum. So you could use that to make more like documentary or something like that, but it's not necessary. But this is the main point, right? The main point of functions. And then yeah, just need to just try your hands more. So they put this array here so you can return more than one thing, right? If you want to return the answer and return the numbers themselves, you just pass more parameters, right? So then if you say numbers is like this, right? Then you have to store something in numbers. You could even see that these numbers here, although it has the same name as the numbers here, this is the parameter, but this is just a variable, okay? So you just set numbers here to numbers there. And it just, I mean, if you don't want to confuse people, just use a different name. But that's the whole point of function. Yeah, and thank you for this, for watching.